Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation on rent control harms the housing market. We are from Syndicate 2 of the EMBA 70 class from SBM ITB, and we are excited to share our insight with you today. My name is Valen Kerin Parerung, and joining me are my fellow team members. There is a Fahmi Fahlevi, Nadira Diva, Raihan Alia, and also Rizky Widian. The purpose of this presentation is to complete the economic and business landscape analysis task assigned by our lecturer, Mainanda Kurniawan. Our analysis will explore the impact of the rent control policies on housing markets, focusing on both the intended outcomes and the unintended consequences that often arise. We aim to provide a comprehensive understanding of why such policies can be detrimental to the housing market and what alternatives approach might be more effective. Let's dive into our presentation and examine the effect of rent control on the housing market. In today's presentation, we will cover the case overview, key points, theoretical relations, case analysis, and also the conclusion itself. Okay, so let's begin by examining the case overview itself. This case study, Rent Control Harms the Housing Market, illustrates the adverse effect of government-imposed rent control on the housing market. In New York City, we see a prime example of how rent control, initially intended to keep housing affordable, has led to significant market challenges. The government's interference through the rent control system has resulted in several negative consequences, such as shortage of apartments, decreases the quality of housing, and also the overall market inefficiencies. In the shortage of apartment, government setting rental price below the market equilibrium, rent control has discouraged landlords from offering more rental units, leading to a significant shortage of available apartment. And for the decreased quality of housing, with the limited rental income due to the controlled rents, landlords often lack the financial incentive or capability to maintain and improve their properties. This has resulted in a decline in the quality of housing available of the tenants. And for the last, about the overall market inefficiencies, rent control disrupts the natural balance of supply and demands, creating ineffectiveness within the housing market itself. The ineffectiveness make it difficult for new developments to process, further exacerbating the housing storage. Through this case, we will explore the unintended consequences of rental control policies and discuss why they may harm the housing market rather than achieve their intended goals. Next will be explained by Alia.
Okay, so before we already know the case background of review, so we can continue to the rent housing control history. So in the context of historical and adoption, this rent control was first introduced in New York City during the World War II as an emergency measure to prevent a housing crisis. The intention was to make housing affordable during a time of economic hardship. Over the years, this practice has persisted and expanded, now being implemented in over 200 cities across the United States. So, the purpose of this rent control is to keep housing affordable for low-income residents by setting a maximum rent or price ceiling below the market equilibrium price. Despite its well-intentioned purpose, the actual outcomes of this rent control has led to several unintended and often adverse consequences, such as creates a shortage of apartments, accelerates the abandonment of marginal buildings, deters the improvement of existing housing, and benefits the middle class disproportionately while harming the poor. So, interference in the market, particularly through government imposed price controls such as rent control, by setting a price ceiling maximum price that is different from the equilibrium price, has disrupts the natural balance of the market. So we can continue by in the next slide. Yeah, okay. So we will talk about the data from New York City about the apartment rental market in New York City. So the current condition is the rent control continues to impose price ceilings on rental housing, setting rents below the market equilibrium. For instance, in New York City, the control rent might be 600 per month, where the market equilibrium rent will be $1,000 per month. The significant gap between control and market rents illustrate the extent of market distortion caused by rent control. So, by the data, we can see that uh, the, uh, the quantity demand is 2 million apartments, but only 1.2 million are supplied, that resulting in a shortage of 810,000 apartments. So, the shortage occurs because the rent control set below the market equilibrium, the quantity demand is increased while the quantity supplied cannot fulfill. So, there is an excess demand for apartment that leading to a shortage. Due to this excess demand can cause a pressure on price to increase until the new equilibrium, that consumers want to buy more than producers are willing to sell at that price. As an impact of this adoption, it disrupts the natural market equilibrium that causing economic inefficiency and resource misallocation in the housing market. So for the next slide will be presented by Mas Rifki.
Okay, thank you, Alia. So I will explain about the impact on rent regulation in New York. The rent regulation that interference by the government impacts the economic distortions in the housing market, such as first, shortage of apartments. The government imposes a rent ceiling of $600 per month, which is below the market equilibrium rent. At this artificially low rent, the quantity of apartments demanded 2 million far exceeds the quantity supplied, which is 1.2 million, resulting in a shortage of 800,000 apartments. In the absence of price controls, tenants are willing to pay up to 1,400 US dollar per month, reflecting the true market value and scarcity of apartments. Second, reduce maintenance and quality. With rents capped at $600, landlords' rental income decreases. To cope with reduced income, landlords may cut back on maintenance and repairs, leading to deterioration in the quality of the housing. Over time, the reduced investment in upkeep results in a decline in the overall quality and livability of the apartments. Third, reduced incentive for new construction. Rent control lowers the potential returns on investment for rental property developers. With reduced profitability, developers are less inclined to build new rental units. The reduced construction exacerbates the housing shortage in the long run, as the supply of rental units fails to keep up with demand. Fourth, conversion to cooperatives. Landlords seek alternative ways to maximize returns on their properties. One common strategy is to convert rental units into cooperatives where tenants own shares in the building. This conversion reduces the number of rental units available, further tightening the rental market. Last, non-price rationing. With rents fixed below market levels, landlords cannot use price to ration apartments. Landlords may turn to non-price factors such as tenant reliability, stability, and perceived risk to select tenants. This non-price rationing can lead to discriminatory practices where landlords favor certain groups. For example, those with higher incomes, family with no pets, and smaller families, and it's potentially exacerbating social inequalities. Next slide will be explained by Mas Fami.
Okay, thank you, Mas Rifki. Okay, next. So this is the correlation with 10 principle economics. Uh, from what we know, there are 10 economic principles, including the first, people face trade-off, and the second, the cost of something is what you give up to get it, and the third, rational people think at the margin, the fourth, people respond to incentive, and five, trade can make everyone better off, and six, market are usually a good way to organize economic activity, and seven, government can sometimes improve market outcomes, and the eight, a country's standard of living depends on its ability to produce goods and service, and nine, prices rise when the government prints too much money, and 10, society face a short-run trade-off between inflation and employment. So from this case, we learn that government intervention often has undesirable side effects, such as inflation or scarcity. The availability of decent and affordable housing is crucial for a good standard of living. Rent control undermines that the ability to provide decent housing. Society faced a trade-off between manageable rents and housing availability. So, from the 10 economic principle, the important we can get from 10 principle is the first and the six principles. The first, people face trade-off, where the government face a trade-off between keeping rents affordable and ensuring the availability of decent housing. So the rent control policies often come at the expense of housing quality and availability. And another important is sixth principle. Next. So in the sixth principle, markets are usually a good way to organize economic activity, where free markets tend to be more efficient in allocating housing compared to government intervention such as rent control. In the context of housing, market freedom without rent control allow tenant and property owners to enter into transactions that benefit both parties. So, and the next slide will be presented by Nadira. Thank you. Next.
Okay, so let me just take a look at the key points here. We have four important points. The first one is the government calculate price ceilings that match the supply and demand curves product and the service at the economic equilibrium price. The second one is the government exerts authority inside the limits of what the market will bear. The third one is the price ceilings can impact the supply and demands of product and service. And the last one is the government needs to consider the situation in order to set the rent price at equilibrium price to reduce shortage. So, well, this brings us to the end of presentation. I hope this presentation finds you useful, and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.